Well, we are back for round two after a heartbreaker round one, and our hand basically sucks. So we're going to have to mulligan this, and our hand is passable. A little bit on the slow side, don't have perfect mana, but all we need is a dual land, and we could be in this, you know. Doesn't take much. Dual land, carry tid, a lot of stuff, a lot of outs. Would also accept Satyr Wayfinder to have more shots. And he's just cracking a Windswept Heath on turn one. Not sure what deck this is. This is Heroic? Yep. Alright. So his hand is very uninspiring. Just going to take this God's Willing. Not too worried about a couple little dudes. And then if we ever get to a point where we can downfall something, he won't have a protection spell. So hopefully we draw out of this before we get beaten down by 3 power worth of creatures. So far, not so good. Not gonna crack this fetch. It would thin my deck of a forest or plains. I would be getting a forest, of course, which means there's a higher chance of hitting a black spell or a black land in our deck. But even if I draw forest or plains, I'm still pretty happy about that because that puts me closer to Eidolon and Siege Rhino. And we have Citadel, so that's good. And then one more land, we can start playing out some rhinos. Just giving them the horns. And funny thing about this matchup is that a lot of people are like, oh man, you just have to kill their creatures as they come out. But I don't like that plan. I like playing something like a rhino and then trying to kill their stuff. And like you take a little bit more damage, but you don't really walk into their tricks early. And they can't actually race rhinos very effectively. So you really need to establish a clock and beat them down, because if you're trying to kill their creatures, eventually they'll draw a creature and we'll have enough protection spells that they'll still be at basically 20 life, and you will have accomplished basically nothing the entire game. So you really want to play a dude, start clocking them while killing their stuff. That's the goal. So this hand with 2 Siege Rhinos, even if it's, turn 4, turn 5 on the draw, I don't mind that hand against them. Of course, when my hand is this slow, something as innocuous as just a random ordeal could just be the end of me. But if he does ordeal this turn, at least I have downfall on the following turn, and then hopefully he hasn't drawn ordeal plus protection spell. But looks like no ordeals, no nothings, so need to draw a land here, I think. I won't be in the worst shape if I didn't, because I could downfall something, but I really want to land so I can play this Rhino. Yeah, and now he's got a Pilgrim, so he's going to be able to get an enchantment. I assume it's going to be like an Aqueous form, but maybe not. He could think that I'm just normal Abzan, in which case he probably wants to get an ordeal. So let's see what he get. Looks like an ordeal. All right. Yep. So now just passing the turn, I wouldn't expect him to even ordeal his creature this turn. I would think that me just passing with 3 mana indicates that I have a removal spell, so he's going to attack with his guys, and I'm going to take 2 to downfall and then 2 from his attack, and then hopefully draw land. Unless he draws another way to pump his guy or protect his guy, then he'll move in, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah, so he's just going for it. Not sure if this is a sign of desperation, like, he can smell the rhinos, he knows the rhinos are coming, or if he actually has a protection spell. But I'm going to go for the downfall here. If it doesn't work out, I'm probably going to lose, but I'm not going to just, like, let him try and do a bunch of scrying and stuff, so. I think if downfall connects, I'm in a pretty good spot to win. If it does not, I will almost certainly lose. And then we can just play a new game. Come on, let me try and kill your guy. Yeah, just snaps off the God's Willing. Pretty sad showing from me here. Deck didn't really do a whole lot. I don't think his hand was good, but he just drew 2 good cards before we did, so. I don't think I can win, but I'll see how next turn goes. If I don't draw land, I'll just concede, and if I do draw land, I'll play a Rhino, and we'll see what happens. But I would expect that after he draws 2 cards, puts me to 2 life, that I'm just dead. So, or 1 life actually, yeah. And then I draw Pain Land, so I would have to take 1 to play the Rhino. So okay, fine, you win. So, as I was saying earlier, you want to be killing their stuff, or you want to be playing things and then killing their stuff, not just killing. So, a lot of people board in like Drown in Sorrows, but I do not. I do not like them here. Dual Makes are not great. Hornet Queens are a little slow. Whip is great for racing. Sages are fine to tag certain things like Aqueous Form, but you don't want a bunch of them. I think the first one is basically always good. So this is generally how I sideboard in the matchup. I wouldn't mind a 4 Thoughtseize. I wouldn't mind like some Dead Drops if we had communes, like more self-mill stuff. But Dead Drop is kind of a pipe dream, the way my deck is set up right now. And Sand has Thoughtseize, removal spell, some manas, so we're good. We could use a Rhino as always, but what are you gonna do? You know, I'm not about to ship this hand back. Could probably make an argument for just turn 1 Thoughtseize, but it's a little aggressive. Definitely don't want that Hornet Queen. We're a ways off of that. But you know, a lot of the times these heroic decks function like Boggles or like the Nimvegas deck, where if you just Thoughtseize their 1 creature, they just have a bunch of like pump spells and random stuff, and that might buy you a bunch of time. But I don't really like doing that. I think taking the extra damage on turn 1 and not getting to scry right away, and if I draw a 4-drop, I won't be able to play it on time. You know, it's like too much of a setback to actually do that. I'm more than fine just playing this Caryatid here and then going like Thoughtseize kill spell later. Now we have a Bile Blight, so we're pretty well set up. So we certainly have a bunch of time. Just have to draw something to clock him with, otherwise he's going to be able to draw out of it and eventually find another creature. So he's going to play a dude. Oh, excuse me. Like I said, I'm exhausted. Oh. Yeah, he's going to play a creature. We're going to Thoughtseize him, kill it, and then just kind of go from there. Well, Seeker of the Way, I don't really want to kill that. And we drew a Rhino, so we're going to put this plan into action. This whole make a moo cow thing, and then start killing their stuff. So now I like my spot. I would almost guarantee victory at this point. One of the biggest reasons to play Abzan over Sultai is the fact that so many decks that are doing things like casting Seeker of the Way, you play a Rhino turn 3 on the play, and they just can't beat it. It is so hard to beat. The thing is just so big. The life swing is huge. Like, what is this guy going to do, you know? I would be outright shocked if I lost this game. Now he's like, well, crap. How do I beat that thing? And that's a good question. I have no idea. Well, I guess Singing Bell Strike is is step 1 for him. Basically beats my Rhino. Effectively kills it. 4 mana sources right now. Satyr Wayfinder might be the 5th mana source. So we're close to unlocking our Rhino. Alright, so Bell strikes our thing, attacks us, and we draw another Rhino. So I'm quite good at this, apparently. Still not too worried about this Seeker of the Way. I thought my plan A was going to be eventually just untap my Rhino every turn, but I'll just draw another one. No big deal. Thought the game was going to get close there after the Bell Strike. Glare of Heresy is another thing that they could bring in. But again, we're back to the position of me almost certainly declaring victory. But he's going to Stratus Walk up the Seeker of the Way, which is just whatever. I don't really care about that. Kind of undoes some of the damage the Rhinos already did, but it's not really a big deal. So here, I could just kill his 2 guys. I could Thoughtseize him and kill a guy. I think I'm just better off killing 2 creatures than Thoughtseizing him on the following turn. That sounds better to me. He's kind of mana screwed too. Only has access to 1 white mana. Drawing 2 islands is kind of brutal. So has another creature, which is not that surprising. And we're just going to start off with a Courser, I think. Give us a little information for what we're drawing before we make a decision as to what to take from him. He's got a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. So what do I care about? Not the hero, kind of the Defiant Strike. Like, Hero and Pilgrim are too slow. Stubborn Denial I can play around. Feet might be kind of annoying. Strike might allow him to grow his guy and like get out of his kind of mana screw. Also combos with Stubborn Denial. But I think the Feet is going to be the bigger issue. So I'm going to take that one. And now we have enough lands to just start throwing Rhinos at them. So man, I was about to guarantee victory. Now this game is sort of close-ish. Another Pilgrim. What, you got another Bell Strike in there? Assume he's just getting an Ordeal. Ordeal of Heliod. Hello. So we have an Utter End on top, and we want to draw that one. So I'm not going to Wayfinder this turn. I'm just going to send some Rhinos at him. Rhinos and Centaurs working together in harmony. Who would have thought? And he just concedes. Okay. Victory. So looks like the 1 Bell Strike is part of his plan to not die to Rhinos. I don't know if that means I want a second Sage, but I don't really. I mean, I could just get like these Hornet Queens out of here. Could also try and just like spice it up with a Drown or 2. very interesting options. Yeah, I'm on the draw. These queens, they create some headaches, but not really. I'm going to board in another Sage and a Drown. We'll see how this goes. Well, this hand's reasonable. Kind of mana screwed again. That should be fine. And we drew a Satyr. So we're going to take a bunch of damage from this pain land most likely, but not the end of the world. Should be able to... okay, he's going to stub my Thoughtseize. That's fine. Anyway, we should be able to fetch a Plains and Wayfinder into a green source and still do all of the stuff we want to, but well, apparently not. Alright, so 2 Ordeal of Thassa, God's Willing, Hero Seeker. I have 2 removal spells. I don't have a Bile Blight, or I don't have mana for Bile Blight yet. So I think it just means I'm taking this hero and glaring what he plays, probably the Seeker, unless he draws something, but should be able to buy a lot of time this way. And there's our Temple. So do I want to glare that thing this turn? Because I don't think I do. If he draws a land, he has Ordeal plus God's Willing, though. So I think I'm just going to tag it this turn, then play Satyr Temple next turn. He would need to draw like a land, a creature, and still have the protection spell. But yeah, okay, so he's got a Pilgrim. So now he has 2 Ordeals, God's Willing, and what are you searching for? Spectral Ward, which I can Reclamation Sage. Haha. I'm just going to play the Citadel. Not sure what I'm really looking for off this Scry. I'll have better information next turn. Like, obviously any removal spell would be good, but like, am I in a position to race with Whip? I'm not really sure. So he's just going to start up on the Ordeal train. And then Ordeal again next turn probably, or try to, but I think I'm just going to Sage his thing since he has God's Willing. And I'll scry this turn. Definitely don't need that anymore. I could try and set up a double block. I would happily make that trade. The only issue is that he has another Ordeal that I assume he's going to play this turn. Okie doke. So now he's in the position to draw 2 cards, I guess. This thing's going to be a 4/5, so I'm going to want a triple block. Even though I have a Whip on top, it might seem kind of strange. I think it might actually work out where... I guess this could end poorly, but I think it might work out where I triple block, he orders the Courser first, and then goes to God's Willing it for pro green maybe, and then I can Bile Blight it to make them bounce off each other. Obviously you can draw a bunch of stuff that makes that not work out, you know. You could just draw Stubborn Denial, but I'm at 11. I'm pretty low. He's going to get a shot in with that Spectre Ward almost certainly, so I think I have to preserve my life total at this point. And he just goes for the Aqueous form. So now we're actually in trouble. I've never seen Heliod's Pilgrim be so good. I think I'm just going to go for the Bile Blight here to gain 3 life effectively. And then maybe I can race him with Whip. I do have a Rhino in the yard. And I just clicked through my main phase. Okay. New plan, I guess? Oh, man. Don't block my Satyr. Be scared of Doomwake Giants. Come on. Lay sigh. Alright, post-combat whip. Womp womp. Could use that extra life. I'm pretty sure it would have been good. I don't know. Might still be able to like whip a Rhino and get out of this. We'll see. He has another Pilgrim. What does this get? Just another Ordeal, I guess. Yep. All right. Let's see if we can claw our way back. Wanted to keep the Sage back last turn to disincentivize him from actually attacking me, because then I could kill the Aqueous form and start blocking. So I think that worked out well. Now I have the Courser plus Whip to do that. So I don't think he'll be attacking with anything other than his unblockable guy. I'm going to gain 8 back up to 20, so I'm in a reasonable spot, but if he like ever erases my Whip or anything like that, we could certainly be in trouble. I'm also like just out of big guys to whip, and I'm just drawing a Courser next turn. But third Courser gains me 3 life per land drop, so it's not the worst. But okay, he's actually just going to trade with the Sage. Probably wants the extra life buffer, but now I have a Sage in my yard to maybe take out that form. So I have a lot of options, assuming my Whip stays in play. And then maybe triple Courser plus Whip will be good enough. We'll see, though. Should probably have an extra 5 life or so. But gonna draw a bunch of cards. Oh, not as many as I thought. He's only gonna put one ordeal on his thing. He's gonna keep the Aqueous Form one back? Man, he's being really defensive. And we have a downfall on top. Opponent still has God's Willing, so certainly not the Stone Lock or anything. I think I want to whip this Sage. I definitely don't want to whip Wayfinders because I want that downfall. Yeah, I think I just want to whip the Sage. And he's at 7. I'm fine throwing away a Courser. I think I want to kill this Ordeal, though, because the Aqueous Form thing is on D. So up to 25, deal him 2, kill his other creature. So not the worst. And then his mana's already choked, so having downfall on top is pretty nice. Does that mean like he can't really tap out of white mana? So another whip on top, don't really want that. So we're just gonna get this Caryatid. Or not Caryatid, Wayfinder. That's the one. And then hopefully mill over something bigger for next turn. But no. A lot of stuff I didn't want to draw anyway. But we have a Rhino on top, so that's cool. And then definitely want to attack with this Wayfinder to gain our life. Every little point helps. And I could play Caryatid or keep open downfall. And I think it's just better to keep open downfall. This Caryatid isn't going to be doing much except for blocking. So at least take away the option of drawing planes, playing like slamming Spectral Ward on something. There's a Flooded Strand. So effectively it planes, but still can't Spectral Ward me, which is nice. A lot of decisions to make from the heroic side, especially with 6 cards in your hand. A lot of options. Another Pilgrim's fine. The card Whip of Erebos is doing a hell of a job against this deck. So just got up another Ordeal. Okie doke. Gain some life. Another Rhino on top. And that's going to do it. Had enough Rhino Drains to take him out. So, Heroic, the supposed whip killer, still beatable. Imagine that. Deck's too great, Rhino's too great.